Attention gamers, there's a rumor going around the rift that there might be too much damage in the game, and while anyone who has played beyond the tutorial would agree with this outside of the turbo virgins who have been playing Talon Jungle, and so thus Riot finally broke. They said, look, we might never know how many licks it takes to get to the center of a lollipop, but we now know how many unhappy people in our player base it takes us to make a drastic change, and that number is somewhere in the millions. So they have come in playing Santa Claus, expecting us to call them Big Daddy for hinting at this durability patch that will make every single champion have more base and scaling defensive stats while nerfing tank killing items, which will take assassins and flush them down the tilt toilet, while simultaneously giving people who already play tanks an eternal erection, as they will be able to piss where they want when they want regardless of who is watching. And I just know somewhere out there the boss FF laughing his ass off. And while I'm giddily predicting that this will make ADCs relevant again, there is a part of me that is sad about this, the black hole in my heart dedicated toward being a League of Legends YouTuber, where the days of me being able to say one shot in a title or a thumbnail will likely be in the past. So with limited time until Riot implements this and for the first time in too long improves their game, I knew what I had to do. Interact with my social media igloo on Twitter at RavLOLTV. Follow me for eternal life, only to receive the unanimous feedback that if I wanted to binge on some burst one last time, I'd have to play this midget wizard slap a Dumbledore cap on his head, adopt a queef kitty, break a personal AP record, and bask in the broken state of modern day League of Legends one last time. And thus I knew what had to be done. First I had to swap game modes from the unfun one where the devil hangs tempting LP prizes in front of angry kids' faces, baiting them into a dopamine roller coaster, starting with the pre-game lobby where their handy free face check app shows that their top laner is playing his one-trick main, which makes them happy only for him to just get pissy and leave the game, making them sad. But we aren't focused on others, we are focused on whatever distractions we have on our second monitor during champ select, until there's not enough time to set our rune page correctly as the time's ticking down. Then we remember face check can set all of that instantly with one push of a button, which saves us from being stuck on Aftershock Veigar. During loading screen I get my scouting report of all of the enemies as well as my own teammates, which reveals that my Talon is a newbie on that champ, and in case you don't know what that looks like, this might help. The app also gives you tons of tips that you think you may already know until it spits something out like how Veigar's W cooldown gets reduced with his passive stack count, and you are just brain banged wondering how you never knew that. Anyways, I get a few hits of dopamine bursty boys during the game at the expense of proper macro gameplay decision making, and then after the inevitable loss I use the FaceCheck app to do a quick scan of its post-game comparison tools, telling me things like how I lost lane to a winshitter and that placing a ward or two wouldn't have hurt my chances. So anyways, everything I just showed is totally free and you can download FaceCheck today to give you these tools to win more. Plus I will add the top 5 most upvoted comments from people who have installed the app that have hashtag FaceCheck in them in game to record future games with you as my teammates instead of AFKing Volibears. Alright, so on my final journey to one-shot ability I was against the rock bender and some perv who kept trying to grab my ass and pull it into bushes, but after whipping magic and mud at each other for 5 minutes everyone and their uncle was oomed, which meant first to be ganked would be doom. Enter the fat booger I picked out of my winner's queue, Nostril, who comes in on a mission to let everyone know that Toph was objectively the worst character in the original Avatar series, as I show the raw power of a manaless midget before mustering the strength for one more Q for the kill. Then it turns out at some point between the last clip and this one I must have snorted a lethal combination of coke and crayons, because clearly either my eyesight or my ability to move my hands was gone, as there could have been multiple Amber Alerts issued for my skill shots, because God knows every single one was missing, but I was dancing around like a caffeinated Michael J. Fox as I distributed cooldowns like they are unemployment checks, equality status among all these shitters, until Earth Whore hits the road. Zack shows up, but I guess my flawless gameplay had him confident enough to leave, so I put the school bus in the pride pen, and then I get yet another kill in a video about one-shots with a series of anticlimactic Veigar autos. And thanks to me having an AFK kitty, I'm rocking an A penis that is above average size at this point in the game, if I do say so myself, and I don't typically like to show it off, but that pebble pussy was just begging to get a taste.
Taste the rainbow.
Anyways, I guess the game turns into such an unpleasant interactive experience for the two butt buddies that had to deal with my stupidity that they totally abandoned bot lane, but they weren't exactly getting their dicks wet mid either, so by the time I arrived the shrimp were already peeled and deveined, and all I had to do was outplay the fuck out of the reptile before focusing my attention on the tin twat who too wanted to taste the rainbow. Then I stay mid to oversee that the identity theft of the Geico car insurance agent goes smoothly as I detain her to make sure Silas has all the details he needs, and then he gets all dramatic in celebration as I kill her off. And I don't like to talk about it, but my kitty did leave my titty at some point, only for the news lady to tell me that she was murdered, and I don't take kindly to cat killers, so I try to turn the cuck into a pot of gold at the end of my rainbow, but he would prefer to make this slow and painful, so I write up a movie script and inform him that I will be Riot Games and he can play the role of his cigar, and I will ruthlessly remove him from the game. This leaves just Blitzcrank, who might as well be on the thumbnail of a Pornhub video because there's absolutely no doubt he will get fucked sooner or later. I catch that tie-dyed lizard molesting a hooded midget employee, to which she makes a joke about my dead cat, which is just a bad take, so I murder her. Turns out my cat returns and I'm complete and ready to take her home until I see Peeping Tom in his tin suit over here, and I'm not gonna have some swollen-handed school bus eyeing up my tit-tethered tabby, so he earns a press of my win fight button. Now, fun story: on picture day in 7th grade, the photographers gave all the kids little plastic combs for their hair that said unbreakable, and you can bet your ass off the only thing I cared about was breaking that motherfucker. So when Rift Alexa said their grades was unstoppable, it should be of no surprise I had my kitty pump cocaine up my anus so that I could quickly prove that myth wrong as well before Blitz got buyer's remorse on the last handshake he extended. And I'm not exactly sure what his grand escape plan was, but I'll tell you, waving your arms like some dramatic speed walker wasn't gonna do the trick. Subplot to my mission to achieve my final one-shot: the enemy team had a Triss top who was also their self-declared split pusher, who thought she could just dodge my abilities and think she would survive, but this is pre-durability patch, bitch, get outplayed. Then I get this whole spiel about how 15 minutes could save me 15% of their dumb reptiles health. QQ bye bye. I fuck with Jake from State Farm Girl, and then as that muddy moron flees, I'm like, hey guys, wanna see a magic trick? I will put Talia in a box and pull a Graves out, who I actually trusted my team to kill. That was my first mistake, so I look like a moron who bet on one of the favorites in the Kentucky Derby, but it's okay, quick fix, taste the rainbow. And then you probably are thinking, Rav, I could revive my dead gerbil from my childhood, put him on my keyboard and taser him, and the result would be better gameplay than the remainder of this play, but I don't give no fugs, cause at the end of the day I just need to push R. Oh, and it's worth noting this rusty kickboxing gym locker thought he could be the hero, but he was mistaken and ultimately forced to taste the rainbow. This brings us to intro scene deja vu, where at 30 minutes I had close to elite number of AP as that rabbit disinvites us from her presence only to serve a pre-patch taste the rainbow. Anyways, I decided I wanted to change my name to Flanky Freddy for obvious reasons, as Toph dies to the force of the tavern. Type 1 if you've been to Beerman Stan's stream on Twitch. Type 2 if you want to see a Blitzcrank disappear. Okay, there were still hints about where he went. He was dead, spoiler alert, but at least he wasn't drunk like this Graves Monka S on that ult, am I right? But here is my problem, guys. You see, I don't stage my games in customs like 95% of YouTubers you watch, so when I do get a rare unicorn game that I'm popping off, I want to cherish it for the content, so I ping my brethren off of a sure win for the sake of your continued enjoyment, which totally won't come back to bite me later. You see, anyone who watched Avatar knows that Toph was blind, and I think this chick's positioning solidified that piece of lore, but we came in peace. I just wanted to spaz on dad ass, but she chose violence, sprouting rock dicks and shit under me, so I had to do what was necessary and burn my flash to ensure that she wouldn't escape. But we don't opt out of ending games to not get unofficial penta kills. And I guess the adrenaline from trolling and almost dying to that nicotine addict had me feeling frisky and willing to push my win fight button at any cost. Even if I died, which I didn't, I survived, as my goal became to plop my wizard balls behind their nexus and one-shot hose till my final dying breath. Side note, I had been full build for 10 minutes and this Zax build was looking like an abandoned thrift store in the ghetto. But it's cool, I saw the Great Wall of China being built and I was ready to go home to stop this try-harding loser from sweating too hard on our nexus, only to get cheddar cheesed by that muddy fuck, so I turn the tides, wait for her to freeze up, and then order one large taste the rainbow. And I may have won the battle, but the war would be won via backdoor, as she woke up today determined to win a 41-minute normal game with the sickest alt nexus slap play ever, and she would knock back anyone who tried. Taste the rainbow. Okay, remember when I said my problem is I don't end games when I should because I want more content? Well, eventually I will chase a little too deep into the rabbit hole, no pun intended, and become the bitch in a game of surprise you a dead bitch, and then from black and white screen have to watch as I win the game. Let's go sub to my channel to find out how I will accomplish an official one-shot post durability patch, and I will see you all on the flippity flop. Rav out.
Don't fuck with Rabby boy, I'm in your crib with the blappy boy. Talk to me slick and I'm popping your pappy. If happy talk back, then I'm taking your Grammy, and boy oh boy I'll make her happy. Let's go.